Well, surprise episode 3, Merry Grotmas. I was starting to worry, I'm not going to lie, that we were going to have a bad Christmas. And just like that, it has been saved. Apparently, we are going to be getting a bunch of new detachments, rules updates, and what have you, with all the leaks that came out. But we are going to kick it off with the Astra Militarum. So, Astra Militarum players, Grotmas just dropped a brand new detachment, the Grizzled Company. And this one I actually think is going to be able to compete with your index. It is a solid detachment. It's both infantry as well as vehicle focused. You no longer have to worry about the regiment or squadron keywords for things to work. They just work. More orders, infantry is going to be a lot tougher, and you get sticky objectives. So let's just dive straight into it. The detachment rule. Here's the breakdown: +1 order for every officer. Here's why that's a really big deal. Standard, an officer may give move, 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 so they can move faster, take aim to shoot better, take cover for defense. The ability to give them on the early turns things like move, 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 and take aim. And on the later turns, the ability to give them take cover and potentially take aim is huge. It is huge. It will make a huge impact. Your units will be significantly tougher. They will have much more versatility. It's just all around. It's really good. It's really good. And then reroll hit rolls of 1 on ordered units. So most guard units hit on 3s or 4s, with the concept of your elite infantry hits on 3s. So once you give it take aim, it's hitting on 2s. And your standard hits on 4s. So then when you give it take aim, it hits on 3s. A lot of the guard army gets these things when stuff is on point. So a lot of the time, what people will purposely do is not get on a point when they're wanting to, with the stuff they want to fight with or that's more valuable, and just put trash on the point against guard players. This kind of takes that away. So it's very good. And then reroll 1s to wound when shooting units on objectives. So this is great. In particular, it makes me think of like when people want to put a great unclean one or a Rodigus on a point, knights on a point, anything that's going to be more durable. The fact that you're going to have reroll 1s to hit and 1s to wound on those targets is going to make your shooting even more terrifying. So let's jump into it and let's kind of dive into the stratagems. So first stratagem that we want to talk about is going to be snap to it. So here's the easiest thing. This is orders in the opponent's turn. So in combined arms, they gave you the ability to do it in your opponent's command phase. Now you can do it whenever. They deep strike and you go, I don't know if they're going to hit that 9-inch charge, but I'm not going to worry about it. Oh, they just landed that 9-inch charge. I'm going to give them X order. He just rolled a 6 on his advance and they've got assault. Now they've got a shooting lane here. I need to give them take cover. No retreat. I think this is, in my opinion, playing Death Guard during their meta when they were really doing this, in the spring. I think this is going to change the game for guard players. I play guard. My buddy that I play a lot plays guard. It's his primary army. And the ability to have sticky objectives where you just can sticky it. You don't have to die on it or do anything. You just touch it and it becomes sticky is incredible. I was listening to Art of War earlier today, and John Lennon had a great idea of scouting a scout sentinel out, touching that objective, and then running it back away. I mean, the thing about guard that is scary is they're a giant gun line. And when you can make the points in the middle sticky, put a 20-man blob on your natural expansion, and then just say, no, come while I have 35 guns pointed at it is a damning proposition for your opponent. I really think no retreat is going to be a really, really good stratagem. Veteran sharpshooters. This is ignore cover. This is an army, unlike Sisters, where immolators are kind of core to how the army runs in a lot of ways. They have hellhounds, which can strip cover, but a lot of the time it's a very mediocre at best Overwatch threat. And they just take them as a 9 hull unit, that 9 toughness hull unit that can run around and kind of score. and strip cover. The fact that you can just do it for a CP now is really, really good. It's very, very good. It basically, in essence, gives your entire army +1, AP. So I think it's a solid stratagem. And then we've got Purging Fire. So Purging Fire is another good one. The big thing that people are going to talk about is, oh, well, we've lost our lethals from combined arms. This gives you lethals. So you've got to be on a point to and shooting at something, but that's not hard because guard typically like to be in the middle of the field, middle of the board. Here's why this is really, really big though. Your elites, Scions is an example that normally would kill any infantry they aimed at. Now you could shoot them at a tank and their 40 shots or whatever it is they get lethal hits on those. Or your Kasrkin or whatever it is, you can get lethals that can go from infantry to vehicle or vehicle to infantry, which I think can be really, really good. So Mordian Minute. So +1 strength to infantry attacks. Here's why this whole thing is big. This is pure, in my opinion, this is a Bulgrim strategy. So you can now, there's an enhancement in this detachment that gives your Bulgrim the ability, we're going to talk about those at the end, to receive orders, but giving them +1 strength. Imagine now you've got Bulgrim that are hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s with strength 7 weapons. Those are some really big breakpoints. They're going to wound pretty much everything on 2s or 3s. It actually makes their melee rather scary. It's really good. And then last but not least, I don't care. They call it additional armor. It's armor contempt. They got armor contempt, -1 AP on incoming fire. So it's really good. I think that it's only in shooting, which is, so it's not quite as good as armor contempt, but it's still really, really good. So winners, what units are going to benefit most from this? Infantry units are going to really love the ability to sticky. They're going to love the lethals. They're going to love the instant orders. I mean, +1 strength on their guns. A lot of their guns are going to be strength 4. Fighting Space Marine players, being able to push into 5 means you're now wounded on 3s. There's a lot of break points that can happen with that +1. So I think, Kasrkin, your Cadians, your Scions, I think they're all going to love all of that. I think the heavy weapon teams might be an interesting look as well, just for the pure fact that now you can get those flamers up to strength 7, which also helps with a few break points. And then full transparency, man, it's a big pop of tanks. The fact that you could sit in the back, you could pop smoke, and you could pop additional armor. So now they've got +1 to hit. You've got the benefit of cover, and you got -1. So you effectively have -2 on all incoming AP, and they hit on 1 higher. That makes a tank terrifying. One of those tanks terrifying to trade with. It just really does. As far as the enhancements, I'm gonna kind of glaze over them. But the one that everyone's going to care about is the abhuman detail. You can give Bulgrim, you can give them an order. So it is commissar model only, but you can give them an order. That is a big, 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 big deal. They have Aquila Eye, which lets them get an additional point of AP. It's okay. I don't think that's going to be a big one. There's Spec Ops Veteran. It's worded really weird, but basically the unit now has stealth every time that you order them. So I don't know. I think again, super duper situational. And then Laud Hailer, again, it's saying that each time this unit issues an order, it can issue it for 12 instead of 6. I don't think any of the other 3, the stealth one, maybe you find some play in, but I'm not a big fan of it. The big one is being able to give Bulgrim orders, being able to give them take cover, being able to give them fixed bayonets, things like that is a big deal. That's going to really, really help. I think this detachment is going to let them play in the middle a little bit more and not just recon horde. It's also going to give them a lot more tactical flexibility that they haven't had, which I think is good. I think this is an easy A tier detachment. I'm not going to call it an S tier yet because I don't think anything in it's broken. I think it's actually very well designed. Drop a like for the Emperor. Subscribe if you want more 40K breakdowns, and comment on which detachment you hope comes next.